Screamer is an arcade racing game fueled by brand new gameplay mechanics. One of them is the Eco. The Eco is a system that allows players to gain two different types of energy. One of them we call the sink, and the other we call the entropy. Sink is the main one and can be gained by doing different actions throughout the race. For example, you can gain it by staying in the slipstream of an opponent, or you can gain it passively throughout the race. There are also characters that have abilities that tweak or add new ways to interact with Sync. But the most important action that the player can do to gain Sync is performing an active shift.
Active shift is a simple but very effective mechanic, because when the RPM of the engine is reaching a critical threshold, you can tap a button and engage the upshift. Doing so has a connection with the story and the overall idea, because you are in groove with the race and with your car, so you get the most out of it, getting a slight push from the engine, but also critically a gain in the sync. So active shifting needs a little concentration, but gets you a great reward in building up the sync throughout the race.
The main action that you can perform when you have enough sync is the boost. The boost is a very traditional action in any arcade racer, but in Screamer we tried to put our own twist on it. Basically, boost is performed by releasing the button at a certain time. But if you release it at the perfect time, you can get what we call a perfect boost. And the perfect boost gives you an additional force for the car, which goes faster and also lasts a little bit longer. So boost is very important throughout the entire race. But boost is not the only thing that you can do when you have enough sync.
Shielding is the other way to use the sync resource, because the Screamer blends the racing part and the fighting part seamlessly. So to try to win the races and prevail is key to be able to protect yourself from the other attacks. So when you see the on-screen alert, you can decide to use sync to activate the shield, protect yourself for a brief amount of time, and be basically invulnerable. But all the actions you do, both boosting and shielding, will use sync and at the same time build up the other key resource, that is the entropy.
When you perform actions that use sync, you gain entropy. And entropy is the energy that fuels the fighting part of the system. The first action that you can perform is called Strike. And Strike gives you a short but very powerful burst of speed. If you hit another vehicle when you use a Strike, you make it explode and perform what we call a KO, which is very powerful. It gains you energy and also a position. But another thing that you can do if you decide to keep the entropy instead of spending it for a strike is use the ultimate ability, the overdrive.
The overdrive is the ultimate weapon in Screamer, so you can decide to save the full entropy bar and use it completely to enter the overdrive state. There, you'll be much faster, you'll have the shield engaged for a brief amount of time, and whenever you touch an opponent, you'll KO them immediately. But be careful, when the shield fades out, you'll be still very fast, but you'll be vulnerable, and if you touch the walls, you'll explode. It's a very powerful tool to be used very carefully and very skillfully. We've been talking a lot about fighting and KOs, but don't be afraid. When you get KO'd, you don't restart from still, but you restart in motion thanks to the ecosystem. So you'll be able to rejoin the competition and stay into the groove and fight for the lead.
So, when you take into consideration all these gameplay mechanics, you can easily imagine that each race in Screamer can be very unique. And on top of that, you have to consider for the differences in character abilities and also the differences in vehicle handling. So I think we can fairly say that there's quite the evolution in each race.
Yes, and races evolve throughout the laps because at the very beginning you have no sink and no entropy, but then you'll start to build the sink and use it. But how to use it? To be faster and to protect yourself with the shield. And then you'll build entropy, but choices again. Should you use it for strike or save it for overdrive? So there's a lot of different strategies you can use to really be prevailing into the races. And there's a lot of evolution from the beginning to the end.
And now we are thinking about the single player part of the game, so racing against the AI. But we can assure you that the experience of the game gets turned up to 11 when you go online and race with your friend in a team.